morning. How are you?
I'm good, Dorothy. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm at home, like everybody, sheltering in place, and now the dog's barking. Kara,
Place to be.
are you at home too?
No, I'm at the office today.
Oh, I see your pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, Kennedy's pictures.
Well, I know that everyone's asking me. I'm sorry, everybody. This is Penny Esparza, and she's with Driggs Title. And she's been my friend for a long time. And since we're all sheltering in place, I thought it might be a good idea to just reach out to some of my friends and ask them what they do and how they do it. And this way you guys get a little bit of information as to my business and my friends and how we go about doing everything. So one of the things that everybody's been asking me, and I'm sure they've been asking you as well, has business slowed down?
Well, no.
Mine hasn't.
No, it's nice and busy. It's actually a really good market right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a client that I've been working with the past week and a half, 2 weeks. They came in from California, he just got out of the Marines. He's here with Honeywell.
Yeah.
And it's the 4th house that we've made an offer on.
Wow.
And have not been able to get it through. The last one we offered 8,000 over and got beat out by someone who offered 13,000 over.
Oh my goodness.
And we thought for sure we had it. I mean, we were placing the furniture and we didn't get it. So it was really disheartening, but hopefully we'll get it soon.
You will. You'll get it soon, but it's busy out there for sure. Has not slowed down over here at all, which is why I'm in the office instead of home. So,
well, Penny is with a title company, and so tell me a little bit about Penny. What is Penny about?
Well, married, 2 kids, and born and raised here in the Valley. So I definitely know my way around all over. Yeah, and I've been doing this about 20 years. So
I met you in about 2005 when I first started with the relocation business.
Yep.
And you were the hotshot relocation title lady.
Those were fun times.
I was terrified of you, and so everybody told me about Penny Esparza. So we've been working with each other for a very, very long time. So this is good that we've finally come around to this where, I mean, I've followed you from one company to another, and you know your stuff, lady.
Oh, thank you.
So let's see here. I have some questions. How long have you been at Driggs?
Well, at Driggs specifically about, I'm going on 3 years, I guess, about. Yeah.
And Driggs has a lot of techno stuff.
They do. So basically, the people running Driggs were tech guys that got into the title industry, and sometimes it's the other way around. The title industry is trying to get techie. We're already techie, and they got into the title industry, so they've got a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
For people that don't know what the title is, tell somebody what the title is.
So, well, the title of the house is really just that, your title that says you own it. But we do all the background work. We look at every owner and everything that's happened to that land since the beginning of that piece of property, and we make sure that nobody else has any claim to it, that there are no types of encroachments or anything like that that's going to cause you as the owner a problem once you own it. And so we actually give you an insurance policy with your title that guarantees that you're protected.
Mm-hmm. And when I first got in the business, you know, it was all new to me. And I sold a house. And I guess about 3 years later, I was in Texas, and Texas has some strange background because so many people settled. The French settled it, the Spaniards settled it, the Germans settled it. Everybody went and had dibs on it, and everybody measured it a different way. And one of my clients got a letter. They said, these people want my house. And I was like, what? And they said, yeah, our house was part of a Spanish land grant. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't know what a Spanish land grant was. So I said, well, let's go to the title company. And sure enough, it belonged to a family from Spain 200 years before. And they had to pay them off because that they insured the title that nobody else had claim to it. And so that's what a title insurance policy does. And it just makes sure that nobody has claim to the title. So
That's right.
tell me about all the different kinds of areas that you've been involved in as far as title.
Well, I've done pretty much everything. So anything from commercial to mobile homes. I've closed escrows on hotels and vacant lands and, things in Greenlee County.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know we had a Greenlee County until then, but so we do everything. Mostly I work in residential. So just, your run of the mill buying and selling your personal home or your vacation home, but we do everything.
Well, I know that you did relocation for many years.
Yep.
You were the queen of all the foreclosures and the short sales. Quite a bit of community property and trusts, because we do have so many 55 plus communities, and they get so tangled up with, second marriages and property and trusts and people out of state, winter visitors they come and they go, and somebody dies here, and then all of a sudden a family shows up from Iowa or Indiana, and it's like, what do we do now? And so, the trusts versus the beneficiary deeds and community property with right of survivorship and all of those things. There you go. You don't look so.
Sorry.
Well,
we do all that. So I will sit and read your trust, your court order, sometimes
divorces, that's a big one.
Yeah, divorce decrees, judgments, review death certificates. I get death certificates sometimes from other countries that are in other languages. All sorts of stuff. And we have to make sure that all of the terms of those agreements are met. So, if the right person isn't signing, we create the paper trail to explain why, so that your documents are valid.
And if there's a question there, you've got lawyers on staff that can come and help you kind of decipher it and help you out.
We do have access to attorneys. In fact, our escrow administrator has an attorney that works as his, I hate to say assistant because she's so much more than that, but she is his escrow assistant and is also an attorney.
Yeah.
And so she's available to us. And then we have our main attorney who's actually runs our Nevada division, but he stays up on the Arizona law as well. So
that's why I like Coldwell Bankers, because we have access to so many attorneys.
Yep.
That, we don't know. I mean, there's things that come up all the time that, having been in the business over 30 years, they're the strangest things that come up all the time, and you're going, huh?
There really are strange things that
how could this happen? And an attorney is really the person who gets in there and says, wait a minute, let's figure it all out. And they're, because we sell houses, we don't do the law. You do titles.
And we work as a fiduciary third party. So you can look at that as we we don't work for either buyer or seller, or we work for you both equally, but we make sure everybody is equally protected. So
you're kind of the hub on the wheel because you take care of everyone.
Right. We want to protect the buyers and sellers, but we also want to protect you and Coldwell Banker, the brokers, the realtors, and as well as us, as well as Driggs Title, because we don't want to pay off a family from Spain for a Spanish land grant. So, so we want to protect everybody involved. Yeah.
I had a house that I sold was a new build years ago, and it was during that era where, because when I started in real estate, this is crazy, that's how long I've been in the business, interest rates were at 23% in West Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the houses that I sold, it was the very first, I was so excited I sold this house. And about 2 weeks after they moved in, the buyer called me and they said, there's a man at the door and he was knocking. And I said, what does he want? And he says, he wants a sheetrock. I said, what? He says, he wants a sheetrock. And apparently they never paid him. The builder never paid.
Right.
And he had a mechanics lien. So title company had to cover it because they missed it. So.
Yeah, and so and title companies cover those kinds of things, but for instance, we also make sure that we get all the disclosures from the sellers. So we actually make the sellers sign documents that say they paid for everything, and
yeah,
that way.
Not back then, they didn't do that.
Yeah, well, that way, if they come after the buyer, you have us in your corner, you have our insurance underwriter in your corner. And we have all those signed affidavits as well, because we want to protect the buyer. We want to protect that title. But we do want to make sure the seller is protected through the transaction too. So that's why we're the fiduciary third party. We make sure we cover both sides of the equation.
In your mind, why do you think somebody needs title insurance?
Oh, well, besides the Spanish land grants, the craziest things come up. I have people who, probably the most common thing I see is going to be family disputes. Mm-hmm. And you've got cousins or siblings or nieces coming after claiming that they've got rights to homes, especially in some of our 55 and older communities. We deal with a lot of people who have passed away, and we have to make absolutely sure that the person selling the house has the right to do so. Because we run into a lot of family disputes, and some people think the house should have been theirs. So that's a pretty common thing. But I'll tell you, title insurance comes into play in so many different ways. Here in Arizona, we've got a lot of open land, what we call meets and bounds, and you've got a lot of things that come up with that. Eminent domain, which is kind of like a squatter's rights type thing. If someone's been crossing the corner of that land for 20 years to get to their driveway, they have certain rights to the corner of your land.
Yeah, they do.
So surprisingly, that's a pretty common thing here in Arizona as well, because we've got a lot of open land. But you want to make sure you have legal access to the property. You want to make sure that you are legally allowed to use the property the way you want. Your title insurance comes in so many different scenarios. So hopefully, if you have title insurance, you'll never, ever need it.
Right.
But if you don't get it, Murphy's Law says you're probably going to need it. So,
it's the only insurance that insures the past.
Yep. Yeah. And the super cool thing in Arizona is that the Arizona purchase contract, the seller buys your title insurance for you, the buyer. So
yeah.
So
how has the coronavirus affected your business?
Well, our building has been locked down in the sense that we have to let you in and out of the building. So that's probably the biggest concern here. But we're very aware of making sure to use gloves and masks, to use have hand sanitizer, have brand new pens available, that kind of thing. So we're very conscious to be very sensitive to it. We've got a lot of notaries going out and doing signings in driveways and
Yeah.
and the notary services that we use, we always vet their policies. So we make sure we use companies where we know the notaries also have gloves and masks and sanitizer, and just that we're very sensitive and very aware of of everybody, but especially those that might be high risk. We've done some closings with people who have brand new babies in the house.
Well,
and
I can imagine in the 55 plus community.
and especially in the 55 plus communities. So it's really just all about being sensitive and aware. But business is booming, so it hasn't affected us in that way. We are just making sure to be as safe and healthy as possible for everybody.
Probably the biggest thing that I've seen, that I've been aware of the past 3 or 4 years, that you've been aware of, that we've all been terrified of, is the hacking.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. Wire fraud. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I worked a transaction I told you about 2 weeks ago where the lender sent the money, and it was 3 title companies that were affected, where out of London somebody hacked it. And they picked up, I think it was like $20 million in hacks. And we waited, we did not, once they figured out they were being hacked, they shut it down. Then everything had to be done manually, and it took 4 days for the money to get to us. And we were just sitting around. The poor people had moving trucks and dogs and kids, and just nothing we could do.
I'm so thankful we were not one of those title companies, but I can imagine. I mean, those things are happening. We did have a transaction here where a lender had actually been hacked, and their borrower's information was located, and they started sending emails out to borrowers with wire instructions that were fraudulent.
Lisa, because that happened to one of our my borrower.
Yeah. So.
And she called me and said, "This doesn't look right." And it was the logo was distorted.
Right. Yeah, that's a really common telltale sign, is that it looks like it got pieced together. Obviously, grammar is usually kind of iffy on those emails, but my best advice is, first of all, question everything when it comes to your money. And secondly, only speak to your escrow officer or your escrow officer's office.
Don't talk to the agent, because the agent knows nothing.
No, the only thing you want to do with your agent is verify the contact info for your escrow officer.
Right.
For wire instructions. Yeah. So just say, "Dorothy, is this Penny's phone number?" "Yes, it is." "Okay." And then go.
Because I don't want any part of it, because I don't want them going into my email to.
Well, I mean, there was a family in California a few weeks ago, all over the news. They lost $700,000 because they sent it via Bitcoin. And I can tell you, I don't know of any title company working in Bitcoin right now. So I don't know, in a few years, we'll see. But anything that seems out of the ordinary, the people here in our office, that the borrowers that sent their money to the wrong place, the wire instructions they got said to send their wire to a person's name. So, that's a red flag. And unfortunately, they sent the wire. But, question that. Go, why am I buying a house and I'm sending money to a name of a person that I've never heard of? So,
yeah, that would be strange.
yeah.
One last thing. If somebody gets a letter after they buy their house that says, if you give us $75, we'll give you your deed.
Yes. Oh, those sneaky sneaks. Yeah, we are going to send you your original deed. We are going to send it attached to your title insurance policy, and it's going to come to you
Free
of any additional charges.
Right.
If for some reason that original deed is destroyed or lost or whatever, your title company can get you a certified copy. And if for some reason your title company, if it's me, you'll get it, no questions asked. If your title company says, no, we already sent you one, order your own, you can do it online. And I think it costs something like $6. So, don't
call me.
Yeah.
Oh, way. Call Dorothy.
Call Penny. Call Penny. If you close somewhere else, call Penny anyway. I'll help you. There are a couple other letters though that you might get. Well, one more that I'm thinking of, I'll just mention it, is people saying, hi, we bought your loan. You need to pay us now.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
That's really normal for your loan to be sold. But there's fraudsters out there. So if you have not heard from your lender that you need to call your loan officer that you worked with, and you need to say, who did you sell my loan to? Because they will be able to confirm that information. So don't just send your money out to somebody without verifying, because that's another common, popular form of fraud. So,
oh geez, yeah, that's happening too.
Rampant. So just question everything.
Well, Penny, thank you so much. Where's your office located?
Our office is at 4500 South Lakeshore in Tempe. So that's right at Rural and Baseline, basically. But we have offices all over the valley and in Nevada.
So. Where you are is in Tempe.
Where I am is in Tempe, yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Penny, for your time today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dorothy.
All right. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
I won't keep you anymore because I know that you've got a lot of work to do. Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.